Welcome back to another episode of Believe in TCU, presented by FanDuel. I'm Zion Trammell, and with me, as always, is Seth Dowdle. Folks, we've got a rather sour episode for y'all today. Bad vibes in Fort Worth right now. We'll be recapping TCU's 41-28 loss at the hands of Kansas State. Now, before we get into things, I just wanted to say something really quick. I wanted to thank George Gabroff for coming onto the show in our previous episode. I didn't really get a chance to thank him on air because my internet was in the dumpster and I couldn't really hear you guys. So that's
Absolutely in
why.
the toilet. Zion's internet was so bad. I've never seen anyone's internet be as bad as that. There's probably children in Tanzania who had better connection than Zion did on
Yeah.
on on Thursday.
I could barely send an email to invite George and Seth to join the show. So that is why I did not contribute much to that episode. But George, thanks for joining. We do appreciate it. So far right now, smooth sailing on my end with
He's
the
looking
Wi-Fi.
good.
Yeah. So hoping for better in this episode. But honestly, I actually wish it was bad because talking about this game is going to suck, Seth. This was an atrocious game. Look, we know the history of playing in Manhattan. It's been horrible. In the four straight losses now there, and the Frogs have lost by combined 77 points. It is it's just been egregious, and it continued on Saturday. But I don't quite think it's just we lost in Manhattan. I think there's some issues that go further beyond that with this TCU team. But Seth, I'll let you go. What have been your reactions to this loss?
You know, the symptom is losing in Manhattan, but that is not the illness. The illness has been a continued problem. I mean, it goes back, in my opinion, all the way to the second quarter of the Arizona State game. Like, since then, TCU has not been playing good football. I know they beat Colorado, but the start of that game was very bad, and they're very lucky that Colorado turned it over 4 times, and they were able to barely cover the spread. Like, that was a game that probably should have been a loss, but Colorado essentially handed it to them on a silver platter. It is a problem that we will discuss, and there are multiple different issues: lack of preparation, lack of conviction, lack of innovative play calling, a lack of discipline, a just overall lack of sense of care, it seems like, to go out there and compete at a high level for 4 quarters. There seems to be some quit in this team. There seems to be some, and not like overall, I think there are definitely a lot of players who care. I think the quarterback is one of them. I will never accuse Josh Hoover of quitting on his team. He's just not playing very good football right now, and he's also not very disciplined with the ball. More on him in a little bit, but this is just kind of an overarching kind of spewing of thoughts here. I think that there are some systematic problems within the coaching staff that are affecting this team's ability to win games consistently. I don't know what was in the water in 2022, but since 2023, none of that magic has existed at TCU. So, bad game, really bad loss. Kansas State, listen, Kansas State was 2-4 entering. I don't think that's a bad football team. I think it's a team that's playing bad. I don't think that's a team with bad players. The spread was 1.5. There's a reason for that. K-State and TCU are not that far off when it comes to their rosters. And so TCU losing in Manhattan was never something that I thought was out of the question. I think we said as much on the show. I was having to kind of rebut our, George, who came on and was like, TCU is going to win this game pretty easily. And I was like, actually, George, I don't know if you know this, but like, this is going to be a football game. And it was. But what we didn't expect was for them to look terrible. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong. They looked awful. Look, I could actually accept a close loss where they looked good and because again, Kansas State, definitely not a great team, but they do have good players. They had some inexcusable performances in the beginning of the season, but I think the way I looked at this game changed with the way they played against Baylor. They lost by 1. They almost upset Baylor in
Well,
Waco.
they had a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And
Choked it away, which kind of gave me a little hope for part of the TCU game that maybe that could happen again, but it didn't.
So. Yeah, it did give me a little hope there, but yeah, and it's the way. And look, if you had told someone in the beginning of the year you're going to lose in Manhattan by 13 points to Kansas State, okay, because everyone kind of thought Kansas State would be better, but it's the way that it looked. Like I said, I would have accepted maybe a close defeat. Maybe you miss a kick to lose the game or something like that. And you just think, oh man, just a couple more things went right. Okay. They looked fine, but no, it just was an ugly loss. I can't even, we've been trying to gather any positives and there's just not many. Kansas State held the ball for 36 minutes. TCU held it for 23. The Frogs turned it over 3 times. That just cannot happen in a conference, in a Big 12 game. Big 12 games.
2 of which resulted directly in touchdowns.
Exactly. Big 12 games the margins are razor thin. We've seen, I think they showed it in the broadcast, there's been 6 Big 12 games decided by either 1 score or 3 points. I don't know what exactly it was, but
yeah, close games.
Big 12 games are close. You cannot lose the turnover battle, and you cannot lose it the way that TCU did by handing Kansas State points and coughing it up 3 times and then not able to force a takeaway on their end. It's bad. It's rough. I understand everyone's frustrations, and they have every right to be upset about this, because you want to be a serious Big 12 title contender like they've been claiming they are going to be all season long. You cannot lose the way that you did in Manhattan. Just can't happen.
Well, and you're almost completely out of it. You kind of have to run the table now if you want to make the Big 12 title game. And I do think a lot of the angst comes with 5 hours west of us in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know if it's 5 hours, but it's pretty far out there.
Yeah.
They have completely overhauled a team that was mediocre, like the definition of mid last year, Texas Tech, into a team that legitimately, in my opinion, can win a national championship. Maybe not win it, but they maybe can win a couple games in a playoff.
They will be close to that soon.
If they keep spending like this, they for sure will be. I mean, they got some dudes coming in this next couple recruiting cycles, some absolute dudes. If they keep doing that, or even maybe this year, right, we're looking at it. And it's like, that's one of our biggest rivals, or one of TCU's biggest rivals. And if TCU and Texas Tech played right now, I'm not confident all TCU could compete on the lines of scrimmage or elsewhere, for that matter. But that's not this game. That didn't happen in this game. That was TCU Kansas State played this game. And TCU and Kansas State are very even, and TCU, I think, would like to go out there and win that game. And if TCU doesn't turn the ball over on those 2 instances, this game is a lot closer than it was, but I still think they lose. It is not a good one for sure. You're right about that. I know I'm rambling here a little bit, but and here's my point. I had a point. I promised I did. We did our preseason projections. I don't remember what we did. We went game by game. I don't know. Remember, believe listeners, we went game by game. We both had TCU at 9-3. I don't remember what you had, but I'm looking at what I had right now. I had TCU beating North Carolina. I had TCU beating Abilene Christian. I had TCU beating SMU. I had TCU losing to Arizona State. I had TCU beating Colorado, and I had TCU losing to Kansas State. So far, everything is going about as expected, but how it's happening is changing the way we look at things. Because I thought TCU would be able to be competitive against a K-State team, because I think they're going to go 9-3. And according to my projection, I have them beating Baylor. I have them beating Iowa State. I have them beating BYU. I have them beating Houston. I have them beating Cincinnati. All of those games are incredibly tough now, it looks like. TCU's draw has not gotten easier as the season's gone on. But I don't know if they play like this, that they can do that.
It's if you play like this, yeah, you're going to be happy with a bowl game at this point. But I don't want to just tear down the rest of this season based off those games. It's right to be frustrated, and it's ugly. It's just ugly. And again, the Colorado win, it wasn't a convincing one. It wasn't a convincing win there. And Colorado's okay, but like I said, you're going to play. You're gonna play tougher opponents. Yeah, they did beat Iowa State, and you just haven't given me much confidence that moving forward, this is going to be a team that's legitimately competitive, and it's bad. I wanted to get into a specific element of the game that really it made me upset was TCU abandoning the running game. Now, you think last week, okay, well, yeah, they're not good at running the ball. Kavorian Barnes ran the ball 12 times for 81 yards. He averaged 6.8 yards per carry. That's really good. He had 3 carries the entire second half. I do not understand why TCU, they've been trying to find their identity, trying to find that running game that's click and free things up for Josh Hoover. And you finally got it, and you abandoned it the entire second half. I know
in the first half, they weren't doing it enough in the first half, I'd argue either.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I get it, you're losing, but why go away from it? It just didn't make any sense to me.
Well, let's game this out, right? So TCU is down 14-7 at the half. They throw a pick six. Well, they turn it over on downs, then they throw a pick six. You're down 21-7. TCU's next drive this is how TCU's drive after going down 21-7, the biggest drive of the game for them by far, right? Because if you score, you cut it to 7, you're back in it. Everything fair game. Kickoff for a touchback. Delay of game. False start. Run for a yard. Illegal forward pass.
Oh, gosh.
Run for 13 yards punt. Really good punt, by the way, by Ethan Craw there, 53-yard punt. And then K-State scored a touchdown. And then it's over. 28-7. I know they scored a touchdown on the next drive, but like that was the game. That was the drive that showed me that they didn't have it. And I knew they didn't really have it, but like if they could come out there and put up some resistance, but delay of game, false start, first 2 plays out of a timeout after first 2 plays of the drive. Undisciplined, sloppy, didn't want it enough.
Bad vibes.
But I mentioned that also with the run game because TCU's first drive out of the half. By the way, that 1-yard run on that drive after by Kavorian Barnes was his final run of the game. Kavorian Barnes' last run of the game came with 10:21 left in the third quarter.
That's unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I know you have an excellent passing game. Josh Hoover's great. Receivers are great. But it's finally working. Why are we I know I'm repeating myself. It's unbelievable. I guess we could talk about Josh Hoover a little bit, and it obviously was not a great game from him. The pick six, not sure what he was looking for there. The tipped pass by Barnes, then the forward pass or backwards pass.
That's not on him. That ball should have been caught.
No, I know. I know.
But it gets credit as a fumble by him. So like it just was not a clean game. And even then, right, if you take all that away, he was not accurate. He was not making good decisions. Seemed rattled for sure. And I was a little surprised by that, honestly, because I was listening to the broadcast and they talked to Josh before the game, and Josh's second start of his career came against Kansas State in 2023, and TCU got smoked in that game. Completely looked overwhelmed. And Josh spoke a lot. in the lead up to this game that he wanted to put that one to the side and come out and make a statement and change the narrative about TCU and Manhattan. And from the start, it was very clear that everyone was rattled.
What is in Manhattan that just makes you so rattled? I really don't. I know I've never been to a game, but goodness gracious, it's insane.
Yeah, it was a bad one, Zion, for sure.
Yeah,
And I mean, overall, everyone played bad. We're going to talk about the quarterback, didn't have a good game. We're going to talk about the receivers, they dropped a lot of passes.
they did.
I thought the offensive line played pretty well.
I know Josh Hoover got sacked one time, and they gave Barnes running lanes, and that's it. Just now, I mean, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean Hoover. I do want to say, yeah, I don't blame him for that fumble. I'm just, plays that he was essentially a part of that resulted in takeaways. But look, at the end of the day, like, people saying, this is happening. This happened after Arizona State. It happened again. Like, Josh Hoover's not the guy. There's nothing that you can say negatively about his character in the way that he carries himself after losses and how he carries himself throughout the game. Because like you said in the beginning, he does not quit. He continues to keep pushing. And he gave an emotional speech, according to Steven Johnson. He's with Fort Worth Star Telegram. He said that he gave like a very emotional speech, and basically saying that he didn't make enough plays for them to win this game. The defense balled out, and he said he's failing the team as a leader and a quarterback right now. But I don't know. I judging him as like the leadership is there. The guys rally behind him. People. Bud Clark said he'd go to war for Josh. Like, I don't think. I think people are pointing blame at the wrong person here. I know Josh did not play great, but he is the guy, and I think TCU fans should continue to back him. Not saying you defend him after a bad performance, but it says a lot about his character, the way that he handled himself after that performance.
I do think he's being failed by people outside of his control, mainly, the offensive coordinator in a lot of regards. I think that he's being put in bad spots. And the whole reason this game kind of spiraled was after that fumble got returned. Like, that's when it all kind of spiraled out of control. And that's not on him. That's a play call that shouldn't have been made. That's a ball that should have been caught. And then everything spiraled from there. Did he respond well? I don't think so. He played out of control. Felt like he had to do everything. Thought that he had to do everything himself. That's not the case. He has good players that he can rely on to help him. But was he kind of being put in a position where everything had to be relied upon him? Yeah, because they dropped back 47 times.
Yeah, you can't do that and expect to win.
Yeah. I do want to talk about Kendall a little bit. I have not defended Kendall Briles in the past, but I have wanted to, kind of rein back some of the criticism that he's a bad offensive coordinator, because whether you like him or not, his teams usually put up some points. And when it's humming, it's pretty good. But there are too many games where they just hit a complete stall for 2.5 quarters or something like that for me to excuse that type of coaching any longer. It is, in my opinion, run its course at this point. And that's all I've got on that. I think the games speak for themselves.
I agree. And there's times where this offense is humming, and I do think it's more of just having guys, like really good players, on this team. Last year, you had two players two wide receivers get drafted in the NFL, and one in J.P. Richardson, I think, signed. You have a really good quarterback. He's had some great players that I think have made up for pretty poor play calling, but it's not been good. I can name so many games where I feel like the play calling has failed this TCU offense, and I think the coaching staff has got to be better. I will say, I think the defense deserves a little bit of credit for the way they played. They did not give up 41 points. Okay, make that crystal clear. They played pretty okay, I'd say, for the most part. And but I think Kendall Briles, it's tough to say that to say that he's the guy as the offensive coordinator moving forward, but I don't know.
TCU outgained K-State by 100 yards.
Yeah.
And lost by 18. Or whatever the number is.
13, yeah.
Parker Fleming on Stats of War on Twitter. He's a good follow, TCU fan as well, but he doesn't just talk about TCU. Make sure to go give him a follow on Twitter. I want to give him credit for his work here. He posts a weekly "How bad did you get beat" chart, and it's just basically like comparing success rates for each team. TCU had a better success rate than K-State in this game, which usually would mean that you beat them. It's just that you lose the turnover battle 3-0. You abandon the run when you don't need to, and things spiral from there. Yeah, it's just it's one of those things where I've seen this game before. It's kind of played out differently in different contexts. This game reminded me a lot of the Houston game, where the team just kind of doesn't look like they have it, and they never have it.
And look, these kind of losses should not be repetitive. Like the fact that we've had to say the Arizona State loss reminded us of UCF, which was bad enough. In fact, it happened again this year, and now Houston I think was worse than Kansas State, but
yes,
the vibe of it just was deflating to watch, and nothing really was going right. So the fact that it's happened twice in a row, it's really ridiculous, and it should not be happening for a program as like TCU. It just shouldn't. But it's the reality of the situation. They got a big matchup with Baylor on Saturday. Both teams are 4-2. Both teams desperately need this win. We're gonna have hopefully we're gonna try and get a special guest on to preview that show or that game. But if TCU loses to Baylor, Seth, because I don't know if we're gonna have much opportunity to talk about that as if that's a reality if on the preview. If TCU loses to Baylor, like where are you at?
Well, it's a Big 12 elimination game for both teams, essentially. But if they were to want to start with that, and we can talk about the Baylor side of it more whenever we're actually talking about Baylor on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever that episode comes out. But for the Frogs, if they lose to Baylor, I don't know where I'd be at. I think I'd have a lot of conflicted emotions. Because I tweeted out yesterday, and I've seen a lot of hubbub online. That's what I'd call it. I'd call it hubbub. Calling for Sonny's head. And I think that's a slight overreaction and a slight misread of the room. Given, the greater college football world around you, how many jobs are going to be open this coming coaching carousel cycle? TCU, at best, I'd say right now is like 6th on the pecking order, if that, with what could come open. And we could discuss that later down the line if we get there. I don't want to dwell on that too much because right now Sonny Dykes is the head coach of TCU, and he looks like he will be for the foreseeable future. So that is not something I don't think needs to be discussed. I just want to say that hasn't been a discussion online, and I think that we need to put a stop to it. But if they were to lose to Baylor, they were going to fall to 4-3 and 1-3 in the Big 12. That kind of rhetoric just gets ramped up to 1,000.
It does, and I'm not going to sit here and defend him after that. Like I get it, but yeah, it doesn't do much good for you to fire Sonny Dykes right now. What at 4-2, you want to fire Sonny Dykes right now? Okay, so you're giving up on this year essentially. I mean, who's going to step in right now and make this team an 8-win? No, nobody. That's it's silly. It is silly to entertain that thought of firing him right now.
Who would be the interim if you fired him? It'd probably be Kendall Briles.
Yeah, Kendall Briles. Okay. You want
maybe Andy, because maybe Andy Avalos, he's been a head coach before, so maybe you make Andy Avalos then. He's been a head coach before, so that makes more sense.
So, guys, let's please stop doing that. Please, like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and like you said, there's just look at the greater landscape of college football. I mean, Penn State just fired James Franklin. They can essentially get who they want outside of a few guys, and that's going to be a really highly sought after destination. And there's going to be plenty others that open up that are going to be more desirable than TCU. So let's not sit up here and say that TCU is as good of a destination as Penn State, because it's not. Like, and you're not going to be able to get the guy that you want, because it's just that's the way this cycle is right now. So.
But yeah, we'll put a pin in that. Hopefully, we don't need to take the pin out at any point later down the line, because if this season follows the trajectory that last year's did, TCU is going to go on a little run here.
They'll be okay, guys. Trust me, they'll be okay. No, it's you never know. But I like I said, fans, I understand y'all's. I'm frustrated. We're both. Seth and I are both frustrated, but. I think I do just get a little tired of hearing these same exact reactions after we win and after we lose. It's so up and down. Like, I wish we could just be a little more level-headed, guys. A little more level-headed. But I can't control that. It is what it is.
I will say this, and I don't want to stoke the flames, but if Penn State is willing to pay $50 million to get rid of James Franklin, I don't know what Sonny Dykes' buyout is. I don't know if anyone knows what Sonny Dykes' buyout is, but that kind of signals to me that anyone is willing to pay anything to get rid of someone if they want someone else.
That's true. Yeah, they paid a lot of money, and yeah, we don't know what TCU would have to pay, but
I'd say roughly $15 to $20 million.
It would be a lot for sure. So,
but that's not happening right now. It probably isn't happening if they lose to Baylor. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably not happening unless the bottom falls out here and they go like 5-7.
Yeah, it's.
I think if they make a bowl, he's fine.
Yeah, and I think we need to be moving our attention to other things than wanting to fire a head coach, because that just does not solve anything right now. It doesn't. And
it'd be good for the pod, though.
It would, yeah. We get a lot more attention if Sonny Dykes got fired, but I do not want that to happen. I don't want
new AD. This AD didn't hire Sonny Dykes. I could do this all day. I could become Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah,
this all day.
You totally could. Seth, are there any final reactions to this ugly game that I don't want to talk about anymore after this episode?
Let's see here. I might have something. Talked about Eric McAllister at 156 yards. Good for him.
Yeah, him and Ed Small both played well. I think he did a really good job filling in for Manjack, hoping he's okay. McAllister had a good game. There we go. Got some
that's
positive.
Good. I was somewhat impressed with Avery Johnson, but like not really at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense. I was like, every time I watch Avery Johnson, do you want to know the thought that comes in my head? Man, I can't believe they got rid of Will Howard for this.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought there too with me. It's
Imagine if Will Howard was here. You remember Will Howard at K-State? Man, that thing was cool. That thing was good.
it was.
Operation. But yeah, TCU against K-State has been pretty ugly apart from that 2022 win in Fort Worth. And you could make the argument that game was going to go the exact same as all the others until K-State lost both Will Howard and Adrian. What was his name? Adrian Mendoza?
Martinez.
Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
They both got hurt in that game, and they had to turn to like some bozo from Hutchinson, Kansas or whatever, who never looked at a football in his life. That's what it felt like. I was at that game, and it was like, who's this guy? He can't do nothing. And then it kind of spiraled after that for TCU won the game. But yeah, it's been rough against K-State. Kick him out of the Big 12. Send him to the Big 10 or something. I don't
know. Please, for our sakes only. They have a bye this week. A lot of good matchups in the Big 12 this weekend, and certainly some high stakes. High stakes here for the Blue Bonnet Battle, TCU and Baylor.
Stop it. Blue Bonnet Battle preview coming this weekend.
Yeah, because that's what everyone wants to call it.
I think I wrote an article the other day, and I did call it the Revivalry. I just want to make that known for everyone. Speaking of, we got some good religious battles going on this week in the Big 12. We got the Holy War, BYU Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Too.
Yeah.
TCU Baylor. And then you got the historic Big 12 rivalry between Arizona and Houston.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
I do want to discuss a little bit of what happened in the Big 12 this past week, because I do think it was a little fascinating. Texas Tech is a wagon. You might as well just hand them the trophy now. Do you think anyone beats them? Maybe Utah, like on a really good day, but I don't know.
But
we already saw that happen. We already saw them play. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Arizona. I don't know what Sam Levitt's injury is.
He was in a boot before the game. He didn't look good.
So he's probably not going to go. That was probably the one team that might have had a chance. Maybe BYU could sneak up on him, but
BYU is the exact same team as they were last year. They play these super close games with they won in double overtime against Arizona. Like it's the exact same team.
Yeah, they're bound to crumble eventually.
And listen, I love last year's BYU team. I thought that was a really fun football team, but they are exactly the same.
They are. Yeah, I don't think anyone is in the same realm right now as Texas Tech. They are simply different, just literally eviscerating every team in the conference right now that they run into. I'm honestly glad that we're not playing Texas Tech now, because good golly, if we played them, it would be a massacre that would not be good.
No, and I think I had this take in the preseason, but I'm going to reiterate it now, because now we know Texas Tech is good, and we didn't know that at the beginning. But my take is that this is good for TCU in the Big 12, because one, it gives them a team that I think a lot of people respect nationally. I think a lot of people respect Texas Tech because they have those types of players that are on the teams that are usually winning big-time games. Like, they have those players. That's good. It's good for TCU because I think TCU needs to be snapped in their senses a little bit that this is the reality. Like, this is how you got to, like, the big money that Tech is spending, you got to find someone to pony that up. Heck, the CEO of Nike is an alum of TCU. Can we get some Oregon Duck Nike money to get in here?
Please, please, please.
Mark, what's his name? Jeff Bezos' brother went to TCU. Where is the Amazon cash flowing in? Someone needs to step up like Cody Campbell did for Tech and just say, literally, if you read the article that Shahan Jayaraja posted on CBS Sports about the Texas Tech, how this all happened, Cody Campbell went into the Texas Tech AD's office and goes, "I'm going to buy you an offensive line."
TCU's offense? TCU has not put hardly any resources into the offensive line since Brandon Coleman, Steve Avila, and those guys of that year left, the offensive line has not been.
And
We've
those were
not had
Gary's
any.
players. Those were Gary's players. I don't know if
Yeah,
Coleman was. I know Avila was, but
yeah, I think Coleman was, but
yeah.
we had some dogs up front, and TCU does not have it. I know they played okay over the weekend. We don't have dogs like Texas Tech does. Somebody come in there and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to build you an offensive line," because what we're doing right now is not working.
Yeah. So like that's my take, is that like maybe it snaps this into like all the Big 12 too. That like, okay, like we're going to fall into irrelevance. And I know it hasn't happened yet, but it's slowly starting to happen. College game day has not gone to a Big 12 game all year. And I don't know if they will. Like this was kind of a big opportunity. If they wanted to go to one, BYU Utah is a massive opportunity. I know Big Noon Kickoff's going, which is good. Good for them. But like this was an opportunity, or Texas Tech, their platform, this is an opportunity for other teams maybe to snap to their senses. Maybe Oklahoma State in this next hiring cycle is like, okay, maybe we need to get someone that revitalizes the donor base. You know, that's what I'm trying to say, is that this is the reality. The money that Big 12 teams are spending on football right now is not good enough. And I get it. You're trying to be good at basketball too. Listen, Texas Tech is a great basketball program. They're also doing this. I think Cody Campbell also said, you want me to go buy you a new center? Whoever the head coach at Texas Tech is. I don't know if he said that or not, but he probably did.
What? Why can't I remember his name? Texas Tech's head coach.
Something Davis, right?
No, I have the Grant. I have the face. I literally have the face.
Yeah, I could see him right now. Grant McCaslin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Grant. Yeah. I had the first name. Yeah.
North Texas. He was North Texas's head coach, right? Yeah, he was. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's yeah. You're totally right. Texas Tech's dominating. Colorado beat Iowa State. That was kind of a shocker. They're not as bad. They're not that bad.
We said it. Like, this is not a bad team. They're just like kind of losing these close games. Probably should have beat BYU. Probably should have beat TCU if Caden Salter hadn't just said, "You want the ball, frogs? Here you go."
Yeah.
That's a good football. Maybe not a good football team. That's not a bad football team. Is what I should say.
They're not 3-4 bad.
No, they're like 4. They should be 4-3.
Yeah, it should be flipped, and that looks better, a lot better than 3-4.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I think Iowa State is about. Iowa State, I know they were 5-0, but like they're more like 7-5, 8-4, maybe 6-6.
Yeah, the wheels are going to could start falling off over there with Iowa State. But
do you think Houston's legit 5-1, or is that just we've played Oklahoma State and Oregon State on our schedule?
Yeah, I'm digging it though. I like the vibes. They just need to get one more, and the season's a success, in my opinion. Get that bowl game, and you know what? You got yourself a fun little season there for Houston.
Yeah, Houston's schedule. They beat Stephen F. Austin. Hey, they beat Rice. Played Colorado's third-string quarterback, because remember that was the game Dion essentially punted on because he played Ryan Staub. They beat Oregon State in overtime, got pummeled by Tech, and then they beat Oklahoma State. So,
yeah, it's fun. Houston's fun. Keep
same with Cincinnati. Same with Cincinnati. 5-1.
The difference is I think they're actually a legitimate 5-1 team. They are good. Why they're ranked ahead of Nebraska, I have no idea. Nebraska literally beat them.
Like, it's always the argument of like who would beat who on a neutral field, and that literally happened. Cincinnati and Nebraska played on a neutral field, and Nebraska won.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but hey, people missed that one. But
it did happen on a Thursday prior to week 1, so I can see how people might have ignored that.
Yeah. And I want to say this though about Houston though. I'm saying that they're fun and whatever, but it's looking like that game could be really tough for TCU. Like, I'm not saying that they're a bad team. They're fine. they've won the games that they're supposed to win. They can't control how bad other teams are or their schedule. So I want to give them the credit that they deserve. They're playing good. We'll see. And, I don't want to say that and then we lose to Houston and I'm like
It's on the table.
it seemed like I'm discrediting them. No, that's going to be a good competitive game for sure.
Every team except for West Virginia that TCU plays the rest of the way is ahead of them in the standings. So these are important football games if TCU is wanting to kind of catapult themselves up the standings. Listen, here's the way this needs to go. This is the path for TCU to have a successful year, in my opinion. They got to win out. They probably won't make the Big 12 championship game anyway because of who their losses are to. But you got to hope that somehow, some way, 2 teams of the Big 12 make the playoff, and TCU, as a result, they say, would you like to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl? And TCU says, thank you very much. Yes, I would.
I'm loving this scenario, Seth. I'm loving it. Let's do it.
Because we've talked about it before. That is almost on par with a playoff appearance for us.
I'll take it.
I will too, by the way.
Way less stress. I will happily go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and if TCU wins, that's amazing. If TCU loses, that's okay too. I'm gonna have fun.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl. You're probably playing like Georgia Tech or something. I don't know.
Let's do it.
I don't know. Georgia Tech might make the playoff.
Yeah, they might. We might get
Clemson.
It's an ACC opponent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third place ACC, maybe second place ACC, depending on whoever makes the playoff and whatnot. It just depends.
Yeah, give us Georgia Tech. Give us. God, that conference is bad.
Knowing TCU, they'd somehow end up with Miami somehow. I don't know how Miami was like gonna not make the playoff.
Wouldn't that be something? Okay, well, let's. Okay, now I have to see real quick.
We got it. This we've totally gone off the rails here, but we need to figure out who TCU would play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Virginia. There you go. That's what it is. It's going to be Virginia.
Oh, yes. Chandler Morris. Yes. No, that would be awesome. We've talked about this before. Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be a lot of fun. Look, guys, we had to bring some positive vibes, a little bit of fun. We can't be too. It was an ugly game, and we're not trying to dodge that. We confronted it all. We talked about it. We just had to talk about some Pop-Tart Bowl scenarios. Sue us. Don't.
Imagine if North Carolina goes on a run here and makes the Pop-Tarts Bowl. TCU plays Bill again.
That'd be something. That would be something.
That's not happening, by the way. North Carolina's losing to Cal. I'll bet my life on that.
Oh, they 100% are. Let's play Cal. Let's play Cal in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Come on. I'm down. Let's go.
I think the Pac-12 schools still have their bowl affiliations.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, dang it. No rematch of 2021. Dang it. From the last time TCU played Cal.
Forgot about that. Yeah, TCU won that game.
Yeah.
That game was close. TCU had to come back in that game, if I recall correctly. They had to come back against 2021 Cal.
Yeah, I do remember that. But we'll see. Anyways, I don't know who TCU will play if they make a bowl game, but we're hoping for the Pop-Tarts.
Let's get there first. How about that? Let's beat Baylor.
Let's beat Baylor and let's get those 6 wins.
Listen, we've said it before. TCU can beat everyone on their schedule, and they can definitely lose to everybody on their schedule. We said that in the preseason. Like this schedule was toss-up city. Like every game to me was like, I don't know, win, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is toss-up city. So it's gonna be a tough break here for TCU, and again, rough loss, but we'll see how they respond against Baylor. We're gonna try to get a special guest on the show. We're coordinating that now as someone part of the Believe Network. So it'd be awesome to talk about that game. And it's a big one for both teams and obviously a huge rivalry game. So we're excited for that still, and it should be a good one. But that'll finish things up here for this episode of Believe in TCU. You can follow us on just about every social media platform at Believe in TCU. You can subscribe to us at YouTube or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, all at Believe in TCU. So for Seth Dowdle, I'm Zion Trammell. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys later in the week. And as always, go Frogs.